All right, I'm Pat,
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
and the discussion for the night is
Torpedo bats.
torpedo bats.
As a Yankee fan is here, I'm curious.
I even wore the kit
You
tonight. I
did.
didn't mean to. It was just in the rotation. My both Sox
Oh, it's
jerseys
starting to
were-
like.
Dude, I can stick
It's
my
coming.
hand in it.
Oh my God. At least the New York part can't.
That's what's holding it. This is structural. So load bearing logo.
that part ain't coming off. So at least that will always be there. But I am curious on your opinion of the torpedo bat. And Jeff has no idea
I've
what
written that.
a
This is
torpedo
new,
bat
man.
is.
All right, so a torpedo bat is a bat. So the barrel is no thicker than a normal bat,
Mhm.
but it tapers towards the end. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So it's got a bulge in it. All right.
All to increase the mass in the sweet spot.
Right. So basically, in
Okay.
most bats, the sweet spot is in the barrel of the bat, but it runs all the way to the cap. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yankees, they got this MIT guy to redesign bats. All right, for some of their dudes. I found out that a professional bat, like fitting, they hook you up with a little fucking motion detector
Electrodes,
dots and everything. They have you take 1,000 swings in a bat cage or something like that, and then they can fit you with a bat. It costs like 10 grand, so per player to do that. Okay,
At that level, like at double A,
they don't even do it at double
I
A.
think they just go to the rack and say, pick one of these.
Yeah.
You bring yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Triple A, maybe.
Do I keep the receipt for reimbursement?
You might be able to claim it on your taxes. I don't know, man. It might be a business expense. So, but double A, man. It's like, well, you can use the club bat.
It's got tooth marks in it.
It's called speed bumps.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, so it looks a little goofy. And so Yankees showed up with it, I believe in spring training.
Okay.
Briefly, they fitted out two guys with it.
Okay.
I don't remember. I think Beltran was one of them.
Beltran?
No, not Beltran. Who am I thinking of?
It wasn't Judge.
It wasn't Judge. It might have been Chapman.
Chapman, yeah.
Yeah, it was Chapman.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was Chapman. They fitted out Chapman with one and some other dude who was on a slump with one. And so they show up opening day and just start cranking them.
They had 7 home runs
Something
that day?
like that. It was something bananas.
It
So
looks like an extended bowling pin.
it does, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a long, skinny bowling pin. It looks
Right.
like one of them wicker bats from that sport that we don't talk about. So,
We acknowledge it.
right. So, but anyway, so opening series, I believe, was against the Rays, and they
Wasn't it the Twins?
It might have been the Twins.
Because I think the Twins also had torpedo bats.
Oh no, everybody's got them.
But I think
Yeah.
the Twins also had torpedo bats in the game. Or maybe, no, it wasn't the Twins. They played somebody else. But the Twins also had torpedo bats that same weekend. And they didn't hit a home run. But the Yankees
Well, I mean,
had, so it
sometimes
was like,
you could rig out everybody in the Rockies with super.
oh, yeah. We can put it up on a tee.
Right, yeah.
And they're still not going to
Put the
score.
ball on a string. So anyway, so they just absolutely. So they did do the debut of him, I believe, during spring training, and I think that was at the Rays' place. So because they're actually not at their home, they're playing at like the Yankees AAA stadium down there, or the spring training one down there right now. So they start cranking them this week, and immediately Twitter's just blah, 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 baseball Twitter, which is this like all these different subsections of Twitter. So
Yeah, it does. Like, it's sort of baseball Twitter sort of intersects with like racist Twitter, but not always.
there's a Venn diagram, yeah. So yeah,
They're not.
I mean you have to really be careful when it crosses over with hockey Twitter, but
Well, see, that's the thing is, hockey Twitter and racist Twitter, it's a Venn diagram, but it's just one circle.
it's like faces of the moon. Yeah. So, well, anyway, this one's more MasterCard-like. So it's not quite that bad.
Right.
But anyway, so Twitter's a light. and they were immediately screaming at the commish, like
That is
is this
cheating,
cheating and blah 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 blah, and then
especially the Yankees.
well, that was kind of the point, but still at the same point in time, like the guy who designed it, I mean, he went through and he read all the
Yep.
rules, and
Right.
then it turns out that there's all kinds of whack bats you can use. Nobody does, so because they all fit with it. There's even like curved bats that you can use.
Right.
So it's fucking
Right.
weird as long as it's not over a certain size, and as long as it's not over a certain weight, and as long as it's made of wood. So you can actually do quite a few things. And so, okay, fast forward 1 week, and fucking 1/3 of the league is using them now. So
Right.
they're basically like giving them to anybody who's either a monster bat, or guys who suck, and it's like, hey, maybe we can get an extra hit out of you again,
Right.
kind of thing. And so now they're everywhere, and so that whole thing kind of blew over in like a week.
Yeah.
Because then immediately the league went back to normal, where it was like, okay, the White Sox are terrible, the Rockies are terrible.
Okay, so the argument here would be that if Team A that blew ass
Mhm.
acquired some torpedo bats and then were leading the division, it would make some serious debate into terms of the advantage of these weapons.
Yes, if the Rockies were the only one with torpedo bats and they
Right.
were leading the league in offense, we'd have a story.
But it sounds like the oil and vinegar and water have settled into their natural buoyancy points.
The Yankees can hit home runs. What are they built for? Home runs.
Well, if you recall, I mean, there's a certain precedent for this that I can remember in swimming, where they took the
Yes,
American-
a man in swimming will beat all the women.
well, no, yes,
not
that's
that.
a fact. No, but they were complaining several years ago about the American Atlanteans that were destroying all of the rest of the world, and they said the reason you guys are doing this is because you have those suits.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And so they
Yeah.
banned the suits for everyone, and the Americans continued to win at record levels.
Yeah, I remember that. They had those like compression suits that
Yes,
you had to like spray paint on yourself. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, they have shit like that in weightlifting too, where like for people trying to set the bench press records, right? They actually pull your arms this way.
Yeah, I know
Right.
which ones you're talking about.
Well,
yeah.
on top of that, they
The ones that don't strangle you.
yeah,
You
just
drop
when
the bar,
you get off, you can only move your arms like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
The other thing is they're having this huge debate right now about people are in some leagues are allowed to arch their back unlimited, so that
Oh, and weightlifting?
correct
Oh.
because all you have to do it has to touch your chest, right? Now, if you are over there like you're being like tortured, like these people look, your drop on this is an inch. There were some people that basically they get their chest arched so much, it's not even a drop.
Yeah, that's kind of cheesy.
It's awful. Well, I mean,
okay,
here's the
all
thing
right.
is-
So I'm
is-
tracking.
so it's the same kind of thing where like yeah, as long as everyone has access to the bats, the league settled into what it was. Just
They
like
came out
swimming,
almost
just like-
immediately and said it's fine. So it's
Right.
in regs, and then because there was about 4 or 5 days there where oh my god, rah, 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 no, they should bring back pine tar, rah, and I mean all this stupid argument. Well, that was the whole point. It was like this is offensive super weapon.
Instead of giving it a chance to see how
Yeah.
it plays out.
And
it
so
was-
another week of baseball, it all played out. Yes, the oil did separate back from the water, and the sinkers at the bottom.
I understand, like a lot of the real super weapons go in the golf bag. Like there are clubs that are distinctly better,
Those are tightly regulated, though.
right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit that you can use normal, even in like some like open matches and stuff like that. But if you get on a tournament circuit, you get basically a pretty standard bag of sticks. So because it's like there's all these like there's variations on putter designs and stuff like that, but then there's like some that are just so ridiculously good that they're just like, no, you can't use that. So
Yeah, they look like they're laser guided. I've seen some of the
Mhm.
crazy ones that I'm like, that's not a putter. It's like, no, it's the putter.
oh yeah, my father-in-law had one of those pendulum ones that you hold like this.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can totally buy them and use them. You just can't use them if you're in pros. So but they were like fine with it after a couple days. With the baseball. So now it's just like all these other changes that they've made over the last like 2 years. Everybody's kind of like attendance is up. There's like record numbers of people who are enrolling in little leagues now and shit. So they're kind of like, yeah, it's fine.
Why don't we let this slide?
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like it could be good for the game.
These people are actually showing up, except for Coors.
Still, they had what, 16, 17,000?
I know, man.
I guess for your opening weekend, that's pretty crappy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I had two friends who went up to the opening game this year, and it was fucking miserable. It was like 45 and yeah. So it's like, all right.
I just don't understand how you can build a team in Colorado and have the worst offense.
It makes money. The Monfort don't care, man. It makes money.
If you're gonna spend money, just buy hitters and fucking who cares if you're gonna win or lose. Just make it entertaining.
I mean, the Denver Post had this big thing where like the Monfort's wife was even trying to convince him to
saw that.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, are you gonna be sleeping on the couch tonight?
I think she wants a divorce. She wants to split the money.
Right, yeah.
I don't want part ownership of the team. I want to leave, and I want a big fat check.
I think that's fine. I think that's.
I think it's a lost cause, man. I mean, we just have to watch it fall into Pat Bowen territory someday.
Well, this is sort of like the one thing I could make an argument for here is like there used to be this like the consequences of your actions of just sort of like believing like a message on Twitter, right? So there was this motion a while ago that said "Free Britney," right? Because I didn't know that she was incarcerated. Yes.
She was incarcerated?
No, it turns out that she was under conservatorship.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay, I remember.
Her father had her under conservatorship because he testified many times as like, guys, you don't get it. She's fucking nuts. It's for her best. And so people out there, they basically just kept petitioning and kept spreading, the hashtag Free Britney, blah, blah, blah. So eventually they decide to go ahead and cut her loose. And so what happens here is every 3 hours she posts videos of herself like juggling knives.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And you can tell it's like
usually naked. So
or close to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this whole thing where it's like, just because it was popular on social media to say this doesn't mean that It turns out that she should still probably be under parental control.
Dude, just turn her loose, man. I mean, it's fine. I mean, just let her go feral out there. I mean, Kanye can't have all the fun on Twitter.
No, I mean, that's the thing. And to be credit, I do like that he takes full advantage of its more lax moderation policies.
Dude, every last one of his posts is flagged as like banned content on my feed.
Well, it's not banned. You have to click on it.
You're right.
Visibility is limited. And then when you do, it will be either a picture of a swastika or something like.
Yes.
It's like, I'll tell you about that Hitler guy. He knew how to get stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And then
kept the trains on time.
This is the thing where it comes down to like, does the state or the city own the team at all in terms of say like, actually no,
you are
really.
not.
No. You are not in control of this.
If they want a new stadium and they want us to
that's true. Yeah, that's
at
true.
that point,
yeah,
we have a say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Until then.
Well, I mean, are there any strong arm tactics where they could say like, yeah, you can stay here and you can keep owning this team, but just keep in mind, we are charging you triple for electricity.
What do they care? Look how much over the tax the Dodgers are.
Oh, yeah, they're way over.
Do you know what kind of check they're going to get?
Well, this is what I'm saying, is you just look at whatever they're taking in and find some way to say, like, okay, yeah, electricity costs this much, water costs this much, here's your bill.
I don't think that would actually pressure any team.
Then they'd be like,
I mean, also it was like Oakland.
Hot dogs cost another $1. Your beer costs another $1.
Oh, yeah. We're going to invent new uniforms, and you're going to have to buy them now.
It's a dangerous game you're playing, but I'd have to try.
Dude, I would love to be a baseball fan, but They killed it.
Through the Rockies?
Yeah.
William, you can be a
Well,
baseball
yeah,
fan.
there's lots of teams out there that are good.
You do not have to just like the team that is geographically closest to you. They can have an ethos that you agree
You can
with.
put them on
or-
hiatus, man.
Yes.
You can put
They
them
are
on
on
pause.
hiatus.
Yeah.
I don't.
So, but then you can find another team to root for. So some of us accept applications year round.
That won't happen.
Or the other thing is, you can just enjoy baseball and just say, I'll watch the game that's on. I don't have to like a team. I can just watch the games unfold.
Well, it also turned out I'm terrible at betting on baseball.
I thought you always made money on baseball.
You used to.
You used to.
Baseball's tough, man. Well, I guess maybe because I don't pay attention anymore. When I decide to throw in a few bucks, it's like,
Right.
well, that was terrible. Wow, I thought that guy was good. Because I don't even know who some of the star pitchers are anymore. Like,
It's hard to keep up, man.
I'm like,
Yeah.
there were so many guys on opening day that I was just like looking through the names and I'm like, I have no idea who half of you guys even are.
You're like,
And these are the opening day starters. Like, I'm like, oh boy.
but you're kind of like, you're going to old dollars. It's like, where's Justin Verlander?
He's still on a team.
He's still on a team, but he is not the lights out.
And part of me betting is I just always bet on the Nuggets and always bet on the Avs.
Right.
If I bet for the Rockies, I'm going to always bet against them.
Oh,
But
That's what you said. Yeah.
But the money spread is so big on them.
Right.
It's so hard to
It's
make
not
money.
worth it. Yeah.
So it's just tough to have that go-to bet that you don't even have to know what's like. I don't know much about hockey, but I could just bet on the Avs and that's fun. I'm gonna win some, lose some, but it can
sure.
go.
Well, you can do the same thing with the Dodgers. So,
But you'd have to bet like
I mean, you'd have to buy. It's $50 to win what?
$50. So you'd be bet 100, or actually to win like $100, you'd have to bet like 300.
oh yeah, that's not worth it.
And it's so hard. And if they because they had a 4-game losing streak too.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, you just play so many games that eventually you're going to hit some of them. So, but not if the spread is that low on your wins.
I mean, you could always do where they have to win by 2, and it gives you better odds.
Yeah, you could do that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. So, and I got hockey and basketball playoffs, so I'll
Playoffs.
Yeah.
worry about baseball maybe in the dog days of summer.
Look, it may call your name. Here's the thing: is baseball. Baseball comes and goes, man. It's always there. You may not need it, but eventually you will. There's going to be some time where your soul is busted, and only baseball can fix it. I'm not kidding.
I don't think so.
Don't
I don't think so.
fuck with me on this. This is baseball is.
Hey, I'm not even paying attention to baseball, and I knew what a torpedo bat was.
I don't need it right
That's
now.
a good point.
That swept the world, man. That was like on regular news.
It was on regular news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch regular news.
But it should have made the Twitter.
It was definitely
Not
on
in
Twitter.
my circle. No, nobody in my circles talked about torpedo bats at all. Not even Stephen A. Smith, because he was busy running his mouth about politics and shit.
Yeah, that's a different room.
Because normally he would chime in with something stupid.
See, I follow a bunch of teams on Twitter, and so I get their feeds.
You must have shrunk your room down pretty good because the torpedo bat thing that week was.
I follow, dude. I follow the Red Sox. That's it, and they never talk about that. Matter
Did
of
they
fact,
talk about torpedo bats?
They should have.
No, totally. They totally did. A couple of
No.
guys were pissed about it.
They were
maybe they did, but the team doesn't talk about it.
No,
They don't
that'd
tweet
be true.
about that shit. Man, most sports teams, their social media engagement is pathetic. Okay? I'm just going to throw this out there. They're very bad at it. They're very boring. Not everybody has the good sense to like actually throw haymakers like Wendy's, right? Who fucking goes after people like crazy. You don't know this.
I know this. It's just
do
yeah.
not know this.
I don't
Oh
go
my
out of my
God.
way to follow Wendy's.
They're hilarious. No, that's the thing is that they came up with the smug Wendy's meme. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is all right, but anyway, but yeah, like the Red Sox are just gonna like they'll announce, uh, "Hey, it was a good game tonight" because they lost, or they'll say, "Hey, it was a good game tonight" because they lost again, or they'll say like, "Hey, we're expecting to trade this." Their updates are nothing. They're pathetic. So in terms of opening up discourse with the fans about torpedo bats, didn't happen. I don't have a whole bunch of sports dudes on my feed because why? I mean, that's the thing is sports journalists are only a stone's throw away from games journalists, and I
like
would
my
really have
sports
place for either
journalists.
of them.
Yeah, who do you listen to?
All sorts.
Okay.
Um, mainly TV people because I
Yeah.
have it on during the
You have the
TV.
TV on all day.
And then the local guys, but
Yeah, I
as a
listen to local
fan,
guys. Yeah. They were talking about torpedo bats.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess except
The Red Sox. Red Sox fans sure as fuck were, so Poppy was tweeting about it.
I believe it, but yeah, I don't follow any of the players. That's probably where you'd hear about it. Like if I'll bet you dudes like Kurt Schilling would have had something to say about it.
it was on Fox News.
I don't watch Fox News.
But I mean, like
That's
it's
TV
crossing
news.
over into everything. I'm sure Joe Rogan talked about it.
I don't
know if I've ever
I
seen
don't
Joe
think- I
Rogan
don't think
talk
he
about
talks
baseball.
I bet you he did.
I bet you
that
he has.
torpedo. I bet you the torpedo.
I don't know, man. I haven't been watching it much lately. So
I guarantee you he didn't.
You guarantee?
Talk about torpedo bats. He never has baseball guys on.
But the torpedo thing was massive.
That dude, look, the most massive event in baseball would take a 3-week sideline if he hunted a deer.
yeah, it would. Yeah, and like but he's not big on any sports other
No.
than MMA and boxing. So I mean,
And even
he's had a
boxing's
couple
not- yeah.
football. He's had like he had Aaron Rodgers on his show once.
And it was nothing to do with football.
Well, he talked about football.
He didn't have him on because he's a football player.
He had him on because he's a fucking lunatic.
Correct.
So, yeah.
He's a famous lunatic that
He's a
happens.
famous
to play football.
lunatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he doesn't give like sports analysis because he doesn't know.
He's been on a bad rash lately with all kinds of comedians and stuff. Anyway, so it's just,
Hey, some people like it.
I know, man. He kind of goes through
Find a
his
skip. Yeah.
he goes back and forth on it. So,
It's fine.
It's fine.
So that's the thing is in between your bloviating with Neil deGrasse Tyson's and
I actually follow his channel. He's kind of fun.
kind of like that dude was way more interesting before he bought his own hype.
I know he's still. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like listening. I learn shit when I listen to him. So
Yeah.
that's kind of fun. He has this really good way of like putting things into scale and talking about large numbers in ways that make sense and stuff like that. So I don't know. I kind of like him.
He'd make it onto Big Bang Theory from time to time.
He did show up on Big Bang Theory from time to time. I know that's just favorite.
Several of the
show.
sci-fi shows he'd be on.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Look, the same way like a lot of people like used to be on like Star Trek: The Next Generation and stuff. Like,
They had real scientists on there?
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
I had no idea.
I know Stephen Hawking was on there. And, well, what they would do
He
is
was?
yeah,
I don't remember that one.
yeah. See, the thing what they would do is like somebody would have a problem and like data would go into the holodeck
Oh, right.
and he'd call up like Isaac Newton and
Einstein. Yeah.
and Stephen Hawking would be there playing himself.
I don't remember that, but yeah. He did do that from time to time.
They would do that, and there were a couple of people that made it on there that way.
It's all AI generated.
Yeah, 1988.
Yeah, future AI generated.
No, I gotcha. No, the problem is that within his field, he's an interesting guy, but when Neil deGrasse Tyson starts talking politics, I got no place for it.
No, that's because people keep asking him about it. So
well, he doesn't say the right thing, which is, that's not my deal.
Well, he's a voter. He's allowed to have an opinion.
I disagree.
I know you do.
If you're here to talk space, talk space.
But if they ask you, that's not you forcefully
Refuse.
injecting.
Yeah, refuse. Like in the same way, like when somebody says, like, hey, listen, Fantastic Four, make your movie. Like, can't you put some politics in it? You say no, because I'm making a movie. Thank you.
I think
No,
he can
you
answer
refuse.
it however he chooses.
No, you refuse. Because it's not good for the fans.
Fuck
not-
the fans.
No.
Because
the
you always
fans,
said that. Don't listen to the fans.
yeah, it turns out the fans are the ones that keep the lights on. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the thing.
Well,
Like,
I
here's
don't
the
think
thing.
that's what it keeps Neil deGrasse Tyson's lights on. So.
That's probably true.
No, he actually teaches for a living.
That's true.
He gets a regular check from somebody.
Well, he's a prolific writer too. He's written
He
several
is.
books. So
Yeah, I've read one or two of his books. They're actually pretty good.
They are pretty good.
So,
Yeah.
Did they have politics injected?
No,
No.
not those. So
And if his editor came to him and said, "Put politics in this," you refuse. That's not my deal.
What if he wants it to be his deal?
You refuse.
should Stephen A.
Exactly.
Smith refuse?
Stephen A. Smith. Yes, he should refuse everything. I mean, this is the thing: is he needs to take a look at his body of work and say, "Did I say anything useful over 20 years?" No, he did not, and he said it slowly.
Until he didn't.
Right.
But shouldn't you have every right to say what you want and then you just suffer the consequences? Like Keith Olbermann is obsolete.
That's a good point. Yeah, you can't talk yourself into a corner.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can
Okay, so then,
on your social media.
Well, he did it on our social media.
Who, Keith Olbermann?
Yeah.
No, it's his account.
Well,
and
no, I
Jamila
get that, but he
Hill
was on
and-
MSNBC and ESPN and all that stuff. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, when he had his show that wasn't
an actual
sports related.
platform, yes, yeah, as opposed towards a Twitter following.
Right.
Right.
Hey, dude, like Stephen King does that every day. Mark Hamill does that every day. Fucking George Takei does that every day.
George Takei is still alive.
He's alive, and
Wow.
his pussy ass migrated to Bluysky, of course. But it is what it is.
He'll be happy over there,
He does.
like-
No, but
taking the dog to the farm. So,
well, again, you're not breaking any new ground, right? You're not.
I've never even been on Blue Sky.
Don't.
Well, I don't plan on it.
Well, exactly.
I've got enough social media. In fact, I'm looking to pare some of it down. So-
Totally makes sense. No.
But you should have every right to throw it out there. Like, or you can create stuff like Snow White and have it bomb.
Terribly.
Like, yeah, so you have every reason to do it, and then you have every reason to suffer the
So
consequences.
they got delisted by like 80% of its theaters this week.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I think I saw that
It's so
today.
bad.
Yeah, I know it did so bad, and it got bumped out because we're like, oh, we need more theaters to show Minecraft.
I guess it did. Good God.
I did not expect that to do as well as it because
There are so many people that I did not expect to go see that who did go see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. My boy took 3 of his friends over for his birthday
Mm-hmm.
because they had every intention of just going there to make fun of it. And they did make fun of it,
Yeah.
but it was so great to make fun of it.
They went and go and watched again.
They haven't gone to watch
Oh,
it again,
okay.
but they would.
Well, man, it's been a long time since I ever even thought about seeing the movie twice in the theater.
I would. I don't know if I would just because I want to go see it, but if like my kids hadn't seen it and I
Okay,
wanted
yeah.
to go, then I would happily go again. But to actually, I don't think I've ever gone to the theater to see a movie straight up twice.
I think the last one I did was Saving Private Ryan.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it was a
ago.
while ago. Yeah. Actually, I think I did that with Return of the King.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, because I think there was one time I don't know if I went with you guys and then went with my wife or the other way around.
See, I think
it was something like that. It wasn't like I need to go see it
Right.
yet. Yeah.
No, that's what it used to happen on me all the time. It was like I'd go see something with my girlfriend, and then
the other
Oh,
people
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to see it. Yeah.
because I can tell you, like, Attack of the Clones wasn't worth seeing twice.
No. In fact, I don't think I've seen it since I saw it in the theater.
It's been on.
Well, sure,
But
it's
I
been
haven't
on.
watched
It's
it.
been on TNT
Yeah.
plenty of times.
Sure has. No, there's quite a few. A lot of movies used to be like that. Where, I think I saw Men in Black a couple of times. That same reason.
Oh, I think I might have seen that one twice too. Come to think of it.
Yeah, there were plenty that I saw just
Yeah.
with different people.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's not too many that I
Just wanted to go see the second time.
ain't no thing. Look, this is not 1977 where people were walking out of the line for Star Wars and fucking right back into the line for Star Wars. That's just not happening.
No, not anymore. Especially since it's a 4-hour commitment.
Yeah, and the same thing. Like people aren't fucking like. Well, that's not true. Like there weren't like pass outs and vomiting like at the Exorcist like there were back in the day either. So, um, it's not quite this. The movie going experience is a little different than it used to be. We're all a little bit sort of prepared for what's come before, and we're not going to be those genuine firsts that you're talking about are very hard to come by.
Well, yeah, they get instantaneously spoiled by this thing called the internet.
Well, there's that, but I mean, just in terms of actual, I've talked about this before. The cultural touchdowns aren't the same. Like Alien was a big deal back then.
Mhm.
Again, I think mom went to see that with dad, and I believe that was the one where, like, when that happened, she said, "I want you to take me home right now."
In the middle of the movie?
Yes.
Oh.
I can believe that. Just totally not her cup of tea.
What the fuck our dad was doing? Actually, I can tell you why he took it because he wanted to see it.
It might be cool.
I tried to talk my ex-wife into seeing movies that I knew weren't her cup of tea just because I wanted to go see it. Actually, I just kind of want to see her reaction to watching it.
That's a different story too. I mean, there's that version of like, I know you're gonna hate this.
Absolutely.
Please come.
She hates zombies. Let's go see a zombie movie. Right. Well, I didn't know World War Z was about zombies, to be fair.
What did you think it was about?
I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't see the
It
ads?
had Brad Pitt.
Oh, okay.
And it looked like a bunch of crazy. I never saw fast-moving zombies before.
You didn't see 28 Days Later?
No, I hadn't.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not bad.
That was the first time I saw.
In fact, it's a pretty good movie.
It's better than World War Z. So,
yeah. They shit on a piece of paper. It's better than World War Z.
Pretty much. That's why they've been trying to make a sequel to it for 30 years. Or I guess it's been about 20.
Well, wasn't it a pain? Isn't that one of those famously like difficult movies that got passed around a bunch of times because the vision on it has changed so much?
It's been passed around a bunch of times, and it was written by Mel Brooks' son. So it's it's like this piece of he tried to be a real serious Hollywood guy, and he wrote this crazy book. I actually read the book.
I've heard it's not bad. I just haven't gotten into it.
It's okay.
It doesn't mean it's good. But...
No, it's not good. It's like you talked about, like infusing all your politics into a movie. He kind of pioneered that with that one. So it's like there was this group of people who were smart enough to build a wall around their city. Yeah. That city was called Jerusalem. And then you have these Arabs who get into it and they're, celebrating really loudly. And that attracts the zombies. Unlike the helicopters that are fucking
Yeah, it was not good, but it was cool to see her reactions to it.
All right. No, I totally respect that.
So maybe Dad thought that it would be cool to see if she can see what her reactions were.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
No way. I think if he took her there, that was a mistake.
Well, it was definitely a mistake, but I'm sure he probably had some curiosity to be like, you think you can handle this? I think you can handle it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Dad would have known by that point otherwise, because I mean, Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not like it was ever playing on the TV, any
No,
of
not
these
back
kind of
then.
things. So I mean, it was like, that curiosity. We haven't tried one of these in a decade. Let me give it a go.
well, listen, like Dad actually, to his credit, and this is some shit that I found out later on was Dad was actually for a while into very avant-garde kind of films. I was surprised when Dad and I both had watched Pink Flamingos. Are you familiar with any of the works of John Waters?
Nope.
I
I never heard of either of the things you've mentioned so far.
so okay, so I kind of want to say you should introduce yourself to it, but no,
How
you
old is
shouldn't.
this?
Oh, that's
1970s.
70s. That's
Yeah,
70s.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean,
that's
he's been
definitely
making movies since then, and most of them, like the only one that really is mainstream at all that people would know in terms of like on the outside that is acceptable is Hairspray. And I don't care about that movie. It's a musical,
I've
right?
heard of it.
I've
I
heard
could
of
give
that.
two shits about it, right? But basically, if you're talking about people that were doing things with film that you didn't think were possible or should be done with film, and you say like, is the extremis of this art enough to be meaningful, right? That is the argument. And you come into this and say, are these people charming? Is there a story here? Or is this all entirely shock value? Is there a reason this transvestite is actually picking up a piece of dog shit and eating it in real life
I'm
on
out.
film?
I'm out.
And then when you find out, like, oh, Dad saw this. He was into weird shit. This is the same thing where like, when I joke about Dad was a gorehound, he loved blood and guts. Mom did not. Mom would find that kind of thing incredibly offensive.
That's my mom.
It doesn't do much.
And again, he didn't watch that crap around here because number one, Mom wouldn't let him for sure, and number two, if there was any time where he had somehow inadvertently exposed his children to this and Mother found out, she would have flipped her shit. But he was way into stuff like that back in the day. I was surprised. So what I can tell you is taking Mom to Alien, I think, if I recall correctly, is something that he would have had to have done by accident. He must have thought it was a different kind of movie. Because she was such a prude about those things that you don't make that mistake.
I think he just wanted to see what the reaction was.
There you go. Okay.
But I have no idea.
Yeah.
You're shocked that I didn't know World War Z was zombies.
I mean, it was pretty clear on the
Yeah, it was.
commercial.
Yeah, the commercials are pretty.
The commercials, all I remember was seeing a whole bunch of bodies trying to scale the wall.
Yeah, that did. Yeah, I can see how you'd be confused by it. Maybe it's like about like humanoid, like rabid,
Just crazy
animals.
people.
Sure.
Also known as zombies. Yeah, just
Yeah,
crazy people.
and I definitely had never seen a fast song.
Look,
So
I think
that blew my mind that there could be fast songs.
the biggest objection that I have to that movie is that it's boring.
It is. It's really.
And a
boring.
movie about that should be anything but boring.
Well, I agreed. It was not a good movie.
That's the biggest crime.
I agree.
How can you have a concept like this and it's just not interesting? When you talk about like the fast zombie phenomenon, when you go back to like the 28 Days Later and stuff,
That was a good movie. I saw that in the
those
theater.
are fine movies. They really are. Like,
I 28 Day. The second one was
wait, weeks?
something, and I don't think I actually. That's where they get into Europe, right? I don't think I've seen that one. I know they're making a third one.
What is it? What's the denomination now?
I have no idea.
28 years later.
Yay.
I have no
kinda is
idea. I
now.
know. That's all
Yeah.
I got. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, you either have to, yeah, you either going that far in the future or you have to change the number.
Right, yeah.
It is probably right around 28 years, isn't it? Was it in the late 90s?
Something like that. Early aughts. Yeah. Because World War Z's somewhere in there, 2005, 2008 at the latest,
Yeah.
I would say.
Feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, a lot of these still kind of feel like new movies to me, even though they're not.
Well, it's because photography
Yeah.
really hasn't changed that much. You still have CGI and fucking
Yeah.
everything. It hasn't really gotten that much better. I mean, fucking original Jurassic Park holds up just fine.
Yes.
So, and then you see these
Better than
movies
Fun,
like
actually.
fucking Air Force One. It's like, oh, you just grab the object with your mouth.
I can't believe nobody in the office is like, yeah, I got an idea. It's like, what? It's like, why don't we just like do a test run with a toy and bounce it across water
Just one.
and see if it does what we think it does?
Yeah.
Except, no, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
This
We're gonna do
will
it
look
this
cool.
way. We're gonna do it this way. Yeah.
Man, I haven't watched Air Force One.
Ages.
I watched it about 7 years ago. It's fine. It's
Gary Oldman's really good at it.
he's good at everything. And now he was playing one of the. He does come with like 5 presets of like which Gary Oldman, yeah, and you get that version.
Yeah.
Right. And it's still good. He does that very well.
No, he's good.
Right. Nothing wrong with that movie.
Well, except the effects. Yeah, come on.
Well, most of the effects aren't that. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, but
It's-
that's your finisher.
Yeah.
That's your
it's
finisher.
so
You
bizarre.
can't
It's
fucking.
bizarre.
That's like
I
doing
know.
this great set on the ice and then fucking like not like completely spread eagle landing the last piece of it, breaking your neck.
So to take basically like the victory shot of this and to be like, look, I know that we have rules on this, okay, but my cousin really wants to break into this industry,
Right? Yeah.
you know, and
Just see what he can do, man.
and you got like 7 dudes like, this is it. Well, you know, it's funny because there are things that we look back on in terms of like this look kind of cool, but you realize how awful it is in comparison nowadays. Like I always pick on that scene in Blade 2 where they're doing that thing with the
Blade
floodlights.
The drop shot. Yeah,
And
it is really bad.
they've got these like PlayStation physics going on where
It's real early in the movie.
yeah, it's the opening scene,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay, I don't remember it.
That's fine. But that's the kind of
I
stuff
remember
that
the
is.
blood tornado in the first one.
That didn't happen. For the 5th time, that didn't happen. That was a deleted scene.
But it was on the DVD, so
It played.
No, it didn't.
I don't think it played in the theater. But
No,
I never.
Maybe not in the theater, but it played on TV all the
It
time.
played on TV all the time. Yeah,
The scene wasn't complete.
It played.
it played on TV.
Where what happens?
Where he turns into like the tornado and his body starts spinning and then it comes all back.
It's an incomplete scene on the DVD. Oh, no. When he comes back together,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not the blood tornado. The blood tornado is when he turns into a literal fucking blood tornado.
Oh, I thought that was the blood
I
tornado.
did too.
No,
Yeah.
the blood tornado is the scene on the DVD. Okay.
Is this the same scene?
No, actually, it replaces the final fight. Okay.
The whole fight?
Pretty much, because what happens there is he turns into a blood tornado, okay? But the scene's not even complete. So what they do is there's this like composite where they have this like stock image like tornado looking thing, and they recorded Deacon Frost talking. So there's this square, okay, where his face was supposed to be in the blood tornado,
No, I haven't.
but it's
seen
just a TV screen, right? And so he's saying shit as a blood tornado.
I'm talking about the one that I think you've
I
seen.
thought that was
Where
the
he
one.
breaks up
back
into
together.
all these fucking platelets and then comes back.
Yeah.
together.
No, he just sticks back together. No.
There's a whole nother one.
It's literally a blood tornado. That
Okay,
is,
I haven't seen that.
I
I have
haven't
seen
either.
that.
That's why I'm like,
I honestly
the
thought
scene
that's what
is
they were
not
making
completed.
fun of.
Well, that one still looks bad.
That looks like shit. But I mean, like,
I always thought that's what they were
was the
making
blood
fun of.
tornado.
no. It's if you go to the original like cut on that, there's an incomplete. It's like alternate ending. You go to there and it's not complete, and it's just like I said. It's this shot of a tornado. It's a fill-in thing, and he's talking over it, but they didn't actually put the scene together.
No, that's
Definitely.
I'm
not.
talking about the one that you're talking about.
Okay.
And it looks awful.
Within this movie, it merits differentiation. Now I see what you're getting. Okay.
Mine is probably the Wolverine on the Statue of Liberty.
That's pretty bad.
Do you remember that one?
No.
He's like one of the Statue of Liberty's like crown things.
Yeah.
He sticks his claw out and cuts himself way around and like managed to hang on.
It's weird
by doing this. And so he cuts the whole thing
Which
off.
movie?
The first X-Men movie.
First, I've seen that. I don't remember that though.
Because they end up in the Statue of Liberty at the end. Turns into a big glowing white ball that goes out.
Oh yeah.
It.
Okay.
But he does a fight with, I think it's Sabretooth up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he tosses him or something, and he goes over the edge, and he uses his claw to like be cutting through.
Yeah, it's weird.
And somehow manages to use the momentum.
Spin around.
Yeah, while cutting it off.
Yeah, but if you remember in X-Men Origins Wolverine, see, here's the thing where the cutting becomes sort of very whatever the plot needs.
Yeah.
There's this part where Gambit's going up this ladder.
Oh yeah, and he's cutting down the bottom of it.
Right, and if you look at it, it makes no sense with what's actually happening on the screen. But it's the thing where, well, you can either go through tons of metal, no problem, just swipe at it, or you can swing around with this by your claws. Where it's like, this is weird, man. It looks terrible. And actually, in that movie, all the fucking effects in X-Men Origins Wolverine looked pretty goddamn bad too.
Yeah.
They did. That is a stupid ass movie. I don't hate it. It is not good.
I wish all they did was just focus on the intro.
Sure.
I would have loved that movie. Watching him and Sabretooth go through history.
That's the movie. Yes, that would have been the movie, yes. In fact,
yes, X-Men Origins Wolverine, that was terrible.
That should have been the studio note where they said, okay, so everything that happens after page 11, fuck that. Expand all this because this is interesting.
This was cool.
Well, it's the same thing. Like when I watched that prior to winning all those Oscars, Anora, like the only thing that happens, the only thing that's an interesting part of the story happens in the last 3 minutes in the movie, to the point where you say, this should be the movie.
How long was the movie?
Fucking like 2 hours and infinity minutes. I mean, it was like
plus 3.
I'm sorry, man. It was like, this is nominated for how many Oscars and why? And you're getting caught up on this fucking like comedy shit. I'm like, the only reason
what was the name of this?
Anora. Right. And the only reason that movie won those awards is because the stupid trans person in that other dumbass musical movie had a whole bunch of really like Hitler wasn't so bad texts in Twitter.
That one would have won.
Yeah. They wanted it to win so badly. They really did. But the movie is fucking awful. Like any metric.
It'll change. It's got to change.
No, man. It was supposed to change. So Snow White goes out there, and I think in that third week they said it's like it made $14 per theater. The thing that you're supposed to learn from that is like, wow, modernizing the story and having bitchy people on social media and fucking this up to write for modern artists is something we have to stop doing. So what do? This past week, the guys on Fantastic Four make a whole bunch of statements about, Johnny Storm was a womanizing, piece of crap in the previous movies. He's going to be more attentive to people's feelings. And then what is whoever the girl is? I've never seen her in anything, but evidently people tell me she's good. She's like, no, this is actually a
Sue Storm or the
yes, yeah. This is actually a view on gender roles. I'm like, it shouldn't be. If this is
is that coming out this summer?
Yeah.
Oh. So it's already been cut.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think they're probably finishing it up, but this is the thing: is if you make a movie that is your flagship title that built the entire Disney empire, that they gambled everything on and won, and you fuck it up that badly, and you get from people who say like, Here's our questionnaires. Okay? What did you didn't like? I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. What you do is you go to the next movie and say, fans hate this. Please take it out. And you say, no, no. We're going to triple down on it. With the asshole that directed WandaVision, right? Because he's made a ton of movies. No, he made one series that has about 4 good episodes. And then you figure out what it's about and you say, this is retarded. And the way that you revolve this is disgusting. And you have decided that this character who's been torturing everyone, well, she's kind of the hero. She's been through so much, right? And you say, okay, go ahead and direct this flagship, most important movie of the new era of this. And they don't take all this crap out.
I'll wait and see.
I know. We'll all wait and see. Actually, I won't.
I know.
Fuck off with that. No, I'm not going to give them money if this is the thing. Is you either learn from your lessons, right, or you don't get paid.
I gotcha.
It's that simple. Do I want them to
see.
make better movies? Yes. Then I can't see the crap.
I don't see the crap.
Exactly.
It's Marvel.
Yes. Thank you for ruining it for everyone. You.
Somebody has to.
They don't. So in Snow White's case, with the $14, they didn't have to. They could have even saved that.
They learned. They tangled.
I can't even imagine what they were going to do.
They were going to redo Tangled?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
They were going to make it live, and they said, hold on. Whoa. Let's
staunch the bleeding.
let's rethink this for a second.
And I can't.
That's not even that old of a movie.
It's not.
No, they're just redoing every damn animated movie into a real life version.
The one that I absolutely hope that they were never touching, they touched.
Which one was
Lilo and Stitch is still coming out.
It looks cool.
No, it doesn't.
I haven't seen ads for
It
that.
looks cool.
Animated movie fucking rules.
It does, but he looks cool, real.
And the character of that animation is what sells it. It absolutely does.
He looks cool. Stitch looks freaking cool.
I don't know what disease he has, but he does not look well.
He looks just like him, only like real. He looks cool.
I don't know, man. I thought half of the charm of the original movie was the slightly distorted looks of the character design. I love that. I love the way that the people look in that. That's a lot of the charm of the movie.
If I was going to go see any of the live action one, that'd probably be it.
Because you like the movie.
That's usually why you would go see.
Right, I understand. But that's the thing, is you're seeing it because you like the original movie.
No,
Even
I'm doing it because Stitch looks cool. Like, I liked the original Lion King and stuff. I didn't go see the live one.
Oh, you didn't?
Jungle Book or any of them. I haven't gone to see any of them.
Oh, I'm actually surprised you didn't.
You didn't see the Jungle Book one?
Oh.
No. Sounds like it's right up your alley.
No, I like them animated. Go make your own new ideas. But the Stitch looks cool.
I haven't seen it, so...
That is one of my absolute favorite movies they've ever made. And this is just... don't tread on this.
Are you going to do the live action of Moana where you get Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually singing in it?
Speaking of movies that just came out, yeah.
Did they come out?
Well, no.
Moana 2 just came out.
The animated movies just came out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, those are
Moana 2 just came out last year.
Oh, I missed that.
The first Moana
That was a while ago.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just live actioning every creation they've ever had, basically.
Why do they do that?
Lazy.
Is it cheaper? No, obviously it's not cheaper.
No, they just are using what they have in the past. And
it's just an existing IP.
Trying to get to a new generation, blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, it's not even that.
Why be
not
creative?
Even that smart. It's just when you're going to make a product and say, we can either make a movie that's on its own and has no existing fan base for the start, or we can use things that we know have, existing value, and we're going to go from there. I mean, that's like, there's a lot. They really started mining that shit in the 90s.
I think Aladdin was the first one, wasn't it?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah, with Emma Watson.
Yeah.
No, Aladdin was before that. Was Robin Williams? Oh no,
No,
Robin
that's the
was
original.
Was Will Smith?
Yeah.
Williams with Will Smith. Blue Will Smith.
No.
Beauty and the Beast was before that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast was our first one.
And that one's not too bad.
It's not. It doesn't go off the rails.
No, but the Beast is kind of weird in it.
He is.
And so are all the appliances.
They are. But it sort of fits into that kind of like weird horror thing they have going on.
It does have a little bit of that.
And they kind of, and then they did Aladdin. They did Dumbo.
Oh yeah, I remember that, but I never saw it.
No,
I
nobody
haven't
did.
saw any of them.
Nobody did. And they picked the worst possible person to direct it. Tim Burton.
Oh, that's why I didn't see it.
You want to talk about
Well, didn't Tim Burton have like
just can't
roots
get
in Disney?
Stuff.
Him?
Yeah.
Originally? No.
Yeah, he was an artist with Disney or something like that. Way from that.
Oh, that might
because he
true.
wanted to do.
He wanted to do
Nightmare
the
on
Black Cauldron.
Christmas.
Wanted to do what?
The Nightmare Before Christmas with Disney.
I thought he wanted to do the Black Cauldron. They wouldn't let
I wouldn't be
Tim Burton
surprised.
definitely had a thing in Disney first.
I do know that his first feature film is Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Is it? Is
Yes.
that Edward Scissorhands?
Yep. Predates
okay.
that, but it's yep.
Because history had a thing with Disney, and it showed that Tim Burton.
It's Pee-wee's Big Adventure, not Big Top Pee-wee.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know if he directed that either.
See, I was curious if it was the other way around. I actually watched a bit of Pee-wee's Big Adventure maybe like 6 months ago.
The movie's amazing.
It's great. It's way better than I remembered it being.
Here's the thing. He's at his most unhinged, and it works.
Who, Paul Rubens? Yeah.
Oh, Paul Rubens and Tim Burton, where the absolute like leaning into the wackiness, the absurdity is what makes the movie.
There's a lot of crazy in that movie,
and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can get into the other territory because you're talking about Edward Scissorhands, but Beetlejuice is in between there, and I don't know where I stand on that movie. It's okay.
I don't like that movie.
I mean, there are elements about it that like. Yeah, I do see the creativity of this, but it's just kind of
goofy.
Not for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Edward Scissorhands, it's not really. It's kind of gay. I don't know.
I liked Edward Scissorhands. I think it's got a really heartwarming story behind it.
It absolutely
does. So, and if I'm not mistaken, it is actually the last movie that Vincent Price was ever in. So, he died shortly after that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Do you consider Vincent Price to have been a good actor?
I think he was fantastic. He was back in the 50s, man.
Yeah.
He's like one of your original Draculas.
Right. This is the only time it's okay to polarize that. Yeah, it's true because there have been lots. He's Vincent Price, dude. He was in.
Well, he hosted that TV show for years.
He did.
Which one was it?
It was like Scary Time with like
something like that.
Yeah,
but it was big, and it was like during the whole like Twilight Zone era and stuff. I can't remember what it was. Back when they would have those like 30-minute shocker, kind of like what a twist.
Right. He was also in The Omega Man. Which is the better version of I Am Legend.
Oh, I liked I Am Legend. I really liked it. I am Legend.
Why?
Which one did you see? Did you see the one with the ending where he dies, or the one where he gets away?
He dies.
Okay, all right.
I thought it was really entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic.
The part where he goes and like rescues the vampire kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole movie I thought was fantastic.
I didn't think it was terrible.
It's not terrible. It's just
Yeah.
not what the story's supposed to be.
Well,
I don't care what the story was supposed to be. I watched the movie that was there, and it was entertaining.
But that's the thing is that movie is
Couldn't care less.
right. Okay.
Now, what I went to see not had any impact in anything that would made any point in any part of the movie.
Okay. No, that's fine.
So
That's fine.
I saw the movie. I was perfectly entertained. I thought
Sure.
it was really good. His dog died.
his dog did die.
It was fantastic. Had emotions. It did everything that a movie is supposed to do. I will very rarely, if ever, care if it related to the original story.
So if Jurassic Park was about some kind of marshmallow factory,
Probably have better spin-offs.
would you say like, man, I read this fucking book. What a weird adaptation. I am disappointed.
I say, oh, it wasn't like the book. Like, I thought Sphere was a fantastic book, but I thought the movie
The
sucked.
movie was bad.
But it had
You know what's
nothing
funny
to
is
do whether
it actually had a chance of being good.
The
I think
movie?
it could have been
I thought the
great.
setup, like the original,
The set? Yeah, having
Like-
an American spaceship. Yeah.
well, like I thought the first 40 minutes were like great.
Then it gets weird.
Yeah.
Like, well, I thought the weirdness was okay, but it just kind of ends.
It does just
It's
kind of. They
weird.
just kind of like agree to forget about it. It's like,
Right.
what? Wait, what?
Now the adaptation that could really eat ass is Congo.
That was bad.
So, see, like, I saw Congo, the movie, and I never read the book. So,
The book is actually pretty good.
cool. I'm not going to read it.
Among his books, though, it's not great.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can say the same thing about Jurassic Park. I mean, the book was better than the movie.
To me, yes.
Yeah, well,
From a storytelling standpoint, for like, let's make more money with this.
decidedly not. No, but to put it all in a nice, neat package. It's like, well, yeah, we're just gonna napalm the fuck out of it. And then they didn't do that at the end of the movie. I was like, wait a minute, that was the part I was looking for.
I remember this dude was like, Dennis Nedry was supposed to see his own fucking gut,
I remember, yeah, that happened in the book. Yeah, he's supposed to see his own guts.
and they just cut away from it while he's like getting wrestled with this thing.
Well, and those things were supposed to be 10 feet tall, and the raptors were supposed to be 4 feet tall. So it was backwards. But they were like,
Was it?
they were like,
Okay.
oh, those things aren't quite that scary. So we're going to make this thing spit, and have it this like thing, like
Yeah, I'm not fooling with you. I loved that effect.
Oh, it was great.
I thought that was
no,
cool.
man, but I mean, that's Steven Spielberg. Come on, dude.
Well-
So,
Well, to take this, part of the major theme of the movie is that it's fitting that Hammond gets eaten by the smallest dinosaur on the planet.
many of them.
Right.
But they were like,
Right.
that's way too good of a death to waste on a movie that's already got like 5 good ones in it. So,
Well, instead they use it in like the second one or the third one.
no, and I guarantee you, so the backstory
Third one?
behind that was originally that, yes, that was supposed to be in the movie. Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but Richard Attenborough says, I'm not playing a bad guy. So
He is a bad guy in the book.
that's
Well,
why they turned him into a
okay,
nice Santa Claus guy.
I mean, he's not completely bad, but he is a bad guy, I would say, yeah?
Yeah, he's an industrialist
Yeah,
pig,
yeah.
but
Sure.
but then if you get a guy like Richard Attenborough, he's like, oh, I'd like to play this, I'd like to talk about fleas, Steven Spielberg's not going to say no. He's like, yeah, no, you got to get eaten by these little rat dinosaurs.
Well, and to be fair, all right, the ending that they use him with at his parting line
It's fine.
is great. Actually, it's very good. It ties it up well, which is why it's separate. The movies just had to stop there though, because that would have
Well, yeah, but then I mean that's like so. Minecraft 2 is probably being written as we speak.
Oh,
When
100%.
something happens like that, and that's exactly how they got the Lost World. Because you remember that Michael Crichton was like, "No, it's not," and they're like, "Wait a minute." So we're gonna back up a whole dump truck full of money onto your your driveway here.
Right.
And all I have to do is write a book, and I'll push this button that puts it all in your garage.
Now, I understand that Michael Crichton, at that point, he said, like, you know what, I'm good. Then they pulled up a second dump truck.
Well, actually, he was dying from cancer. So
At that point?
yeah, he was. Yeah.
That early?
He didn't make it that much longer after that. So
He went for like 13 more years.
he
He put together a whole bunch of shows. Which
ones?
He helped develop ER, and
I thought those were all back written by him. I didn't think he was an active writer on that.
no,
I might
he,
be wrong.
he developed the show.
Okay, so he's a showrunner.
I don't remember if he was a showrunner, but he was either that or a consultant or something. It was put together with his stuff. Yeah, he was in. Dude, he made a documentary afterwards.
I thought he was dying by the time that he wrote. Okay,
No way.
I might be wrong. So
I don't know when he died.
it wasn't too much. It wasn't like 20 years later.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it was not 20 years later.
Yeah.
No, but he, he did.
There were a lot of books later, but
Like
I'm
Disclosure
guessing he
came
had a
out
lot.
later, and that came out when he was alive. I mean, that was
Okay.
Yeah, he was around for a while. I remember if I recall, yeah, he made it. He's in a. He made a documentary about climate change.
Never saw it.
Probably because he wrote the book on State of Fear.
That's it, right? Because it's not endorsing climate change.
No, it's calling it all bullshit.
Right, right. He ended
really?
up being.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite books.
Yeah, because he ended up being sort of a right-wing darling
Okay,
for a
fine.
while.
I can see the point. I don't know.
Well, he died from cancer.
I know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and he was fairly young when he went too.
Yeah.
So
He was, but he was also a young-looking guy. To his credit, like he's one of those dudes that like
Seth MacFarlane's probably like
yeah, exactly
60 years old right now.
Exactly.
he might be.
But there's no way he looks
State
it.
of Fear, yeah, that's right.
I love State of Fear. It's by far one of my
It's a
favorite
documentary, or
No.
it's a. Oh,
books.
okay.
It's a fiction book, but it ties all sorts of stuff from like how the big thing in the 70s was that we were all saying it was going to be the next ice age.
Right. Global cooling.
There's
Yeah.
always got to be the new thing of
Mhm.
what we have to fear, and so it's this whole plot of people trying to make the water levels rise and the icebergs calve and all that kind of stuff. And so they're setting it up with new technology and doing all this kind of stuff.
Using bombs.
It's pretty cool, and it's all the politics of it all and things like that. So it's like, huh.
Yeah, because I remember at the time there were a lot of people like in Hollywood. They were like, "You're one of those kind of guys." It's
Right.
like, well, actually, yeah.
You don't think that we're going to destroy the Earth?
It's like, no, what are you fucking retarded?
No.
And then
Earth
it's
is
like-
pretty strong.
And they started like walking him out of Hollywood at that point. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I loved that book. So
They never turned that into a movie. Oh, okay.
No, that's where I know he did a documentary about something like that. It's sort of like in the
probably because Hollywood said no, and he said, "Fine, I'll make it myself."
I'll make my own movie.
well, I'm trying to remember. It was that was the thing. I think it came out after. What is the name of that Al Gore's?
Oh.
I've seen it.
Speaking of bad effects,
Well,
what the fuck was that thing called?
I saw it. I mean,
dude, I
it's
showed it in class probably 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I can't
Oh,
remember.
really?
Oh yeah. So
I have no. I can't. I'm
What the
sure
heck
I'll
was it
know
called?
what it is when you say it, but
I know it's right because like it's got the Futurama clips. It's got they're putting the ice in the fucking ocean.
I guess it just shows that it's not relevant anymore. But it was in every classroom in America for about 10 years.
It was, yeah.
It was. So
I'm embarrassed because I
inconvenient truth. There we go.
okay, well done.
Sorry, it
Thank
just
you.
takes a few minutes.
Yeah.
Gotta fire up the hamster.
I kept thinking numbers for some reason. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
it's not Fahrenheit 9/11.
That's a very different book. They're very
Way
different
different
movie.
director.
Yeah. It's way different.
Way
director.
different topic.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon.
No, that's Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Oh.
Yeah.
With Zod?
Yeah, he's in something where he's burning books and things like that.
That
I thought it
is
was Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit 451.
451. Okay.
That is. He is also in that, as is Michael B. Jordan, and that movie is dog shit.
Yeah, it was not good.
It is a disgrace to the actual book.
Okay, I don't know the.
You don't care about the book. I'm not going to go read Kurt Vonnegut. Oh, that was rewrite. That's right better.
Yeah.
So
Jeff Soul just.
I was thinking of the other one.
Well, dude, there are things like if you're. The thing that would piss me off right now is, and they do have a movie of this, but you cannot, like, if somebody went out there and made a movie of Orwell's 1984
I would,
and try to make it pro-communist, I would flip this fucking table.
I'd watch it just for fun.
I've heard people make the argument.
I'm sure you have, man. So
There's a lot of what he really meant is like, okay, got it. Okay, so tell you what. Why don't you cross-reference that with Animal Farm and tell me if you really think he's pro-communist?
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know why it is, but I always liked Animal Farm so much better. So
Animal Farm kind of rules.
Animal Farm is great. It's short. It's right to the point. It's not all up its own ass.
It's not fucking Dune. It's not a Dune.
Kind of Dune. It's Dune-ish.
You think our kids will have to read any of those?
No, probably not anymore. Maybe Animal Farm is still out there. What's the other one where they crush Piggy with the rock?
Lord of the Flies.
They might still read that
They
one.
do?
Yeah.
They do.
I'm definitely curious what books he's going to have to read.
Why is that the part? That's the part you remember. The
Well,
head
that and
crushing.
the Piggy at the asthmar part.
I know why you did
I
that.
remember that. Yeah, because I was the asthmar kid. So they probably still have to read a couple of those here and there. So, I mean, some of that traditional lit is actually making a bit of a comeback. So, just because there is something that's slightly like they made my daughter read The Lottery. So,
Wow.
yeah, and I was like, okay, you're on the right track, kid. You know. So, and I mean, it's nice and short. And I was like, do you get it? And she's like, yeah, people suck. I was like, yeah, congratulations.
Broken down just like that.
I would argue it's a theme, not the capital T theme.
If you pull one of three themes from a book and it sticks, that's a win.
I'm thinking he begs to disagree.
Well,
No,
of course he does. He's a lit major. So
It's not. Well, people do suck, but I mean, it's not. I would argue that it's not necessarily saying that people suck, but the pursuit of the perfect society is doomed to failure.
Why is a kid going to get that?
yeah, she didn't get that part. She was just like, people suck. So they're willing to do something bad in order to get something good for the entire group. It was like, all right.
I don't think it's that complicated of a theme.
It's not. It's not supposed to be.
Look,
That's
I
why
did
they're
a
still
perfect
teaching that.
society
I mean,
and all
I mean,
this stuff. Yeah.
Like Lord of the Flies, the theme is fairly similar.
I don't think they've made her read that one yet. So
I would be surprised if that one stays. I mean, it does
it's
have
possible.
that head crushing.
It does have that, you know. I'd be really surprised if she doesn't. If same thing with your kid, if they don't come across Animal Farm at some point in time. You know, but then there's like some other classics that I know she's read. So they made her read Treasure Island, which is fun. So
Really,
yeah, it's way fun. It's just a fun book.
it is a fun. And you know what? There is actually some heart to it.
You kind of root for the bad guy.
Kind of. But actually, no, you know what? You kind of hope that he really is turning the corner.
Right, yeah, that he does truly make it. I think the book ends on that line.
So, I mean, if a kid wrote to me, it's like, what's the theme of Treasure Island? It's like, some people are born shit and they live as shit. And when you think they're not going to be shit, they stay shit. You're like, you know what? You kind of got
You
it.
kind of nailed
Because
it.
even though you want people to flip it around, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. No.
Sometimes
you
they don't.
get the black spot.
And it sucks.
So yeah, but
That book rules.
that book does rule, and it's pretty short. Yeah,
It does.
and it's one of his better ones. So but then like I don't know about some of the other things that she's had to read. I don't think she's run across Mark Twain yet.
That's a shame. I hope that they set
She's
aside
not in
time
high
for
school
that.
yet, so I don't think I ran into Mark Twain until high school. To tell you the truth.
I didn't read his best works until college.
Well, yeah, I don't think I did either, but I didn't take any lit classes that he didn't make me.
I didn't take any lit classes
They made me take one.
because I
So,
did AP English, so I tested out all that stuff.
Okay.
So I didn't
Okay.
take
you
a
didn't have to
single-
take English classes?
Not a
Not even
single
like
one.
comp? I did AP English and I had to take both of my comp
But
classes.
his degree was microbiology.
Oh, that you have the right too, buddy.
What citation format did you have to use?
Wow.
APA. Jeff, everybody uses APA except your fucked up degree.
That is not true.
Okay. And my fucked up degree,
Yeah.
which uses Chicago. We don't mention that. That's kind of like writing in, like, yeah. So, used to write in runes.
I would say, like, you don't get to see that.
Oh, I thoroughly, discount it everywhere that I go.
Like, everyone else gets to say that except you.
Yeah, that's true. And lawyers have really weird citations.
Do lawyers have their own?
Yes, the ABA has its own citation. That's when you see things where it's got that squiggly S thing in it. That means section, subsection, shit like that.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So they have their own too.
That's right, yeah, because lawyerism gets into it's like quoting like Bible verses.
And
like,
it's all footnotes.
Yeah,
So,
Book 21, passage 12.
yes. Subsection 6.
And Jeremiah held up the big rock.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know what you guys are never going to read with your kids? I remember when you guys had the summer reading requirement to read the
We had
book
to
of
read the
Job.
Bible. We had to read
Oh, yeah.
Genesis and Job.
Yeah, that's not good.
It depends on the school.
Not
So
my school.
my nieces and nephews go to charter school.
Hmm.
They do Western Lit and the Bible's in it. So,
You know what? Because that should be a fair counterbalance to those bullshit Native American creation myths.
I don't know how much they actually teach those anymore. So
My book has them.
yeah, that's been a while. So I don't know how much of that they actually do. The same thing's true with like what was there was another thing that was fucked up there for a while.
Well, there's a lot of places they decide whether they're going to read The Catcher in the Rye. There's a lot of places they're going to decide to read Raisin in the Sun.
Raisin in the
and,
Sun. Yeah, okay.
um,
That's the one.
There's a couple of them, and listen, you can do a better book. Any time that you're reading that is a perfect time to read Great Gatsby. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it is short. It's a great read.
It's a good book.
It makes every point like eloquently, and it gets in and out fast.
Yeah, it's quick.
It's amazing. It is almost a perfect book. It takes nothing from you and teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it's really fun.
Some Steinbeck novels are kind of like that. But I wonder if they still read like Red Badge of Courage and stuff like that.
No, but she has
No.
done. I was just thinking about it. They did do Robert Frost. Which one?
Robert Frost, the poet?
Yeah, well, he wrote a lot of books too. So,
Which
what's the one with with the wolf?
that's Jack London.
Jack London. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh no.
They've read
that's-
Jack
sorry.
London. What's
Well-
that book called?
Call of Wild.
Call the Wild. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So she had to read that.
So here's the thing: is that book is awesome,
Mhm.
and he's got a couple other that are awesome. He has some that are fucking like
I'm gonna make you read Snowbound.
okay. There's that one, and there's one called like the Star Traveler.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's like 500 books of fucking nothing. And like, here's the thing:
What's the series?
no, it's one book,
Oh,
and it's basically I can't even remember the full details. It's basically about like traveling lives.
never heard of it.
And he keeps passing through these individual like souls. You're like, I don't know what the hell you're going for. Like, you do best when you're writing about like it's cold outside.
It's cold. I'm gonna die.
Like that's his genre. Like
Yeah.
I think Man versus Nature is more or less attributed to Jack London, at least popularizing it.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Well, she already read one of those. I'll see if she runs into Twain. So, because I don't think I actually ran into Mark Twain until Huck Finn, and that was probably like 10th grade. So,
Well,
it
so
was somewhere in there.
Sounds
Yeah, it was somewhere in there. Yeah, but then I mean, because then later I think he did a little bit more Mark Twain, but it might have been his short stories actually.
well, I mean, some places I don't think that like Tom Sawyer doesn't get his due. Like,
No, I don't think I actually read that until I got into college, and that was for a history class actually.
yeah, that was stuff that was so we had like miniature novels, like novelettes that like the abridged versions, and so I read a bunch of those. Like, it's the same thing. You're not gonna, as much as I'd love to see a kid reading a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court,
You're not going to see
it's
that
just
one.
not gonna happen.
Yeah, I read that when I was a kid. My dad gave me that one.
It's
So,
awesome.
it's fun. Yeah. Um, then there were a couple other authors in there that I doubt you'll ever see. Like the Bible one. Yeah, in the public schools, probably not.
No.
It's possible. So,
Well, any parochial school, of course, but yeah,
well, of course. I mean, that's going to be a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
You know. But public schools, not so much. Like some of the charter schools, like I know, like the Montessori schools, they teach out of that. Just as part of Western Civ. More than anything else. But
I don't think they're going to take the chance.
I don't think so either.
It's not worth
And
the
quite
battle,
honestly,
okay.
it's just not worth the fight in some respects. Um, yeah, like because I remember reading parts of the Bible. I remember reading parts of the Quran. So that might have been in college, though.
Probably college.
Um,
But then again, I was also taking comparative religions classes too. But
No, I
yeah,
definitely read that for a lit class because I remember I did like a world lit class and it had parts of that in it. It had like Arabian Nights in it.
that's
Um,
fun though.
that one's way fucking fun. But the one that I was reading was definitely abridged. So it came in one of those Norton anthologies. So yeah, and that's where I read. There's another version of Beowulf out there that's weird.
Beowulf.
It's like Viking though.
Here's the thing, man: is there are a number of different translations, but I think
Tolkien is the guy who made the big one.
he's one of them.
Yeah.
Another translation was done. Well, adaptation was done by Neil Gaiman.
I don't know who that is.
A very famous comic book writer. He's written
Okay.
a bunch of lit and stuff. He's done Sandman, a bunch of other stuff. Good Omens.
Yeah,
Terry
Good
Pratchett
Omens.
and
Okay.
That's what I was trying to think of.
he's done a lot of stuff. Turns out he's a sex pest.
That's always fun.
No, here's the thing: is if you read his stuff and then you look at him, it's like this is
This
the
makes
least
perfect
surprising
sense.
thing I've ever seen.
You found that out about Russell Brand last week. So,
Really?
Used to be though. He says he's reformed.
dude, he got charged with rape last week.
Last week?
Yeah, last week. I don't
Like-
know if this is a hoax story, but it was in the Guardian. So
Wait, is this new rape or old
this
rape?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
Okay.
I just kind of looked at the headlines like that figures.
No, I think he does a thing where he's kind of like, listen, I did some bad stuff before I found Christ. And
I think that might have been a cover.
or did Christ find you?
So I think I saw a commercial where he's doing like a one-on-one with Hannity.
Yes. Yeah.
Soon?
That was like set to air like this
It
week.
might be one of those things where he's getting out in front of it. You never know. So,
You're gonna hear some stuff, guys.
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, from him. Oh, he never shuts up. So,
Well, I know he was notorious for that kind of shit back in the day.
yeah.
So that's why, like, well, I mean, let's remember that the accusations against Mr. Diddy himself are not all recent.
Oh no. Although that volcano still it continues to erupt slowly. So
Yeah, there was some new stuff like 2 weeks
there
ago.
was. Yeah, there's just too much other shit going on. So it's just kind of like, all right, well, fast forward to the end, please.
Patrick, I was so entrenched in like tariff mania that when Trump said, we're going to exclude some electronics, I was let down.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if he changes his mind tomorrow. You can always give it a 24 hours.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
That's a
see,
good
yeah.
point. Yeah.
God, the market is just insane.
Raviolis are stabilized, so I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow.
Whenever this weekend is over. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'd be doing overnight trading right now. So
How does that work? Does it basically like does it actually like live happen at the time, or is it like when the morning happens?
yeah, the futures market. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
Yep.
I think we're living in interesting times, guys.
Mildly so. It's not like 9/11 times, but
They're better.
I think so.
Like they don't have to be crappy to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're better.
Well, because there's no 9/11 going on.
Right.
That's a plus.
But that was just like a morning. This is like
No,
what's going to happen tomorrow?
no. Hold on. The subsequent like 14 years that followed it as a result of that morning count as that morning.
Okay.
All I know is my 401k did like a whole.
It did a whipsaw.
What-
It was like, damn,
It looks like one of those straws.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And I get my bonus from a financial company, so I'm curious if they're going to be like, oh, well, the market went insane. And so that's going to be next month. And I'm like, are they going to tie our bonus to the wacky stock market and shaft us?
Probably not. I mean, it would be
Think
based on your
so?
contract, I would think.
Or if I have no earthly idea.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. So
Now maybe that's it. Maybe the back and forward chatter about everything economics related is what drowned out the torpedo bat talk. But that was all that I was seeing.
Torpedo Pat Talk was a very nice diversion.
it was the week before the up-de-doos. with
That's
the stock
true.
market.
Yeah, and it was
Updy-doos.
last week.
The
Torpedo Bat was 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Two
Yeah,
weeks
it was
ago.
2 weeks ago.
Oh,
it was literally opening day.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
Were there? I want to know, like, when that happened, were there announcers being like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh yeah,
Well,
So
the two initial guys were like, "Oh, that's kind of a neat little bat he's got there."
yeah. They used it during spring training, and nobody
said
noticed.
nothing. Yeah,
Right.
They're just batting, and then finally, and then they're coming up, and they're like, "Huh, what the hell?" Or I think it was brought to their attention ahead of time,
Okay.
so they were able to look at it, and they're like,
well, a clip from one of the announcers who was talking about it went viral on Twitter, and that's when everybody went fucking bananas because they're like, "Wait, it's that fucking bat!" You know? But yes, that was before the market went bananas. So,
Okay, that was before Liberation Day.
which has been unliberated. I don't know, man.
I don't
So
know.
it's like, we fire on Fort Sumter, and then we turn around and say, "Wait, whoa, 90 days later, 90-day timing up, guys." Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't. If basically like doing a sneak attack is what gets everybody at the table, fine. That makes some sense to me.
I
well, how high are the tariffs are going to go between us and China?
a
million.
I don't think
percent.
that one. Well, the Chinese came out. I think it was yesterday.
They said
we're at 125 and we're done. We're done.
Oh,
talking.
really?
We're done talking.
Oh,
So
they said that they quote unquote would not retaliate any further, but then later on the day said, "We will do whatever it takes." So I'm like, so anywhere between do nothing and do everything is on the table. I'm like, okay.
Well, and then they turned around and said, "No more rare earths for you, America." So, and we're like, "All right."
It's like,
That's why, we'll let you send cell phones our way.
I would like to think, at least optimistically, I would hope that this is basically like a breaking olive branch that says like, well, because here's the thing is I did watch the China guys the other day.
Yeah, they were great, but they didn't talk about it that much.
No, but they did talk about the important parts, which is the stuff that I didn't think about, which is you talk about the economic stuff, but what they focused on was the out of work Chinese.
There's a shitload of them.
And that was it. I never see it put that way in terms of what the economic damage is. And they're right, because the place that doesn't have people working is the one that's at the big disadvantage, because the people that aren't working are the ones that get pissed off.
And they don't buy shit.
And they get broke.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that can cause trouble.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, oh, shit. This is sort of a bigger escalation than I thought, because I didn't picture it in those values.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal, and especially, I mean, the Chinese aren't going to back down on a lot of this shit, so it's just going to get worse and worse. Question is like, so I've been watching all this shit, and like hoity-toity economists and stuff like that. It's like, well, you're going to pay like $70 more for a leaf blower. It's like, I buy one every 12 years, so that's an extra $1.50 a year.
Yeah, that's like, I understand the average American goes through 4 a quarter, but it's
exactly. Yeah.
But do understand,
yeah. One of the things that they were talking about is there's a lot of things that we do manufacture here in the United States that use Chinese imports, so inputs,
right?
And so, like, well, that might be a problem, but I have no idea, man. I don't know how much. Eventually Donald Trump's just going to be like, "Fuck it, this is where we're going to go." So, we've seen him like make up his mind on the fly many times before,
right?
And so we're kind of seeing him do it again. And like the one thing that he does better than just about any other president that I've ever seen is he's really good at shaping up his opposition. And so that's what he's doing right now. He's trying to figure out who's on his team and who's not. So he'll figure it out pretty quick.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, there's enough here for me to at least for me, it feels like it's a positive move.
I don't know, Jeff. I'm completely like this. So I don't fucking know, man.
It feels like a positive.
I've learned not to trust feels.
But this is the thing.
COVID doesn't feel like a big deal.
What would make you feel positive?
I think it's the force is really something here. Is
just something's happening?
Well, so, okay. So in terms of the thing that made me feel good about it was actually the reaction that the rest of the world had. Because when those 70 plus countries said, hey, can we negotiate, instead of lining up with China, that's what made me feel good, because that's where there would have been a big ass problem, because now you're splitting the world in 2 parts again, right? But the fact that all these guys, instead of like trying to find, concord with them, said, no, we'll be on the next plane over, right?
Well, sort of. 70 countries. Remember that 34 of those are one guy. That's the EU, and they said that they would go 0-0 with us.
That's amazing.
That's the big fucking.
That's huge.
Yeah, I could give a shit about the other 30.
Well, okay, now remember that. Okay, now in number 2, remember Britain is going to negotiate separately, so that's 2 people. They can catch the same plane.
Right. I mean, but we already didn't have a tariff with Britain, so they're just going to go back to that. It's going to be the same deal that we had.
Whatever it is going to be even.
It was 0-0 last time. It'll be 0-0 in another week or 2. So it was just, that was the thing I was trying to explain the other day. I still can't get a straight story on that, why he actually put a 10% tax on everybody, even people that we already had a 0% tariff reciprocal with. And England was the one.
It wasn't the only one.
Well, there were a couple, but they had bilateral, and that's why Canada and Mexico aren't on there, because we already had another agreement.
Right.
So there were a couple others that were basically almost 0, so that they raised to 10%. But England was the one who was like, wait a minute, we have this thing called a free trade agreement. And we've had it since we did that thing 10 years ago.
Right.
When we left that other club.
Yeah, so when we got out, you guys were like, yeah. You said, what do you want to do? It's like, how about no trade? It's like, yeah,
that's good. Let's do it.
Yeah, because there are, you're talking about like the EU. That's huge.
Yeah.
But the thing that I saw there was, because there was the mockery of like, you put tariffs on the penguin countries, and
I didn't get that. What are they talking about?
Those when he put the tariffs on like the islands that are uninhabited and stuff like that. And I figured out where that was coming from. This is where I saw the analysis. Yeah. They said these are places where the whole reason that at first it was just a joke. I'm like, did he just pick everybody and throw numbers on it?
That's what I kind of figured. But
well, what they said was, and again, this is the kind of stuff this is what Trump is fucking up. He needs to say why he's doing the things he's doing, right? Stop letting people figure out or guess on this one here.
Well, stop letting your surrogates come up with their own bullshit lines too.
That's true.
So,
but the component of this that makes sense is all of these like little places, and they ended up getting way bigger tariffs than they thought, right? They're all places that they're setting up for the purpose of not letting China basically bleed business into these places.
Oh, I see.
Right? Because people already started trying to do that, and they got fucked.
Probably like 10 minutes after he
that is correct.
That fucking placard, trying to hang on to it in the wind along with his hair.
I can hold on to one thing. I've made my choice. And so it was supposed to for the purpose specifically of you can't just dump stuff into here and then funnel it back into the States. I was like, that actually makes sense. You should say that.
If that's what he actually did, then that makes sense. If he did what you thought that he did, and then someone else came up with a good cover, that's fine too.
So there's another version of that, and the phrase is, "It worked out."
It worked out, yeah.
Right, but it's not right. That you tried.
Right.
But
the consequences.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, that's the that was the theory.
That's a good theory. I hadn't heard that one. I didn't really dig into that one because I thought it was just Twitter noise. So
well, because look, this is the thing: is the problem with Twitter noise right now is there's this thing where you have to say like, and both parties are equally guilty of this, right? They cannot stop. They won't stop. It's part of the thing. But basically, like. Anything that happens was good. That was good was because of the last guy. Anything good that happens is because of the last guy. Right. Anything that bad that happens was because of the last guy. Over and over and over again. Right. Yeah. So there's this argument where they're saying, "I'm like, good move with the tariff, dude." It's like, why? It's like you took credit for the biggest gain in history by smashing the market and letting it recover. Good job. Right. That's like. There was a Ricky Davis getting a rebound off of his own hoop. Yeah, that's sort of. I'm like, that's bullshit. And there are people that said there were some dudes that were doing some research, and they said some things where, all right, there's some evidence that some people knew what Trump's moves were ahead of time, and that there were market moves ahead of time. And that there are some people that made a shitload of money.
Are any of those people named Donald Trump Jr.?
Nobody has said. Do you think that he did?
I don't know, Jeff. I'd like to buy some Trump coin, though. Dude, that guy's going to get smoked out someday.
You think he's...
I'm just going to call that one. Yeah.
You think he's up to stuff?
I know he's up to stuff. You can see it in his eyes. Yeah, so... I don't know though, man. It's just like there's a guy at every party, or like even if we go over to the yacht club,
right?
You can look around and you can see there's a couple guys and they're dating somebody or something like that. And you're like, that guy's no good. You just look at him. They'd be like, if he goes to the bathroom, you should leave. Right.
Cover your drink.
Cover your.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, we knew who that was. That was Matt Gaetz. That was.
He got. Talk about a guy who got just absolutely pretzel bendered.
He thought.
He's like, I'm going to get this job, so I'm going to quit my other job. Donald Trump's like, yeah, you know what? You might get this job. You should quit your other job. And he quit his other job, and Donald Trump's like, actually, we're going to put you up first because it's a really important job, and then you're not going to get the job. Because I've had this other lady in mind the entire time. So.
Yeah, I'm right, and this is the because he was the only one they didn't get.
Yeah. He was the only one that they didn't get. Although there's a couple like other guys that are still in there. that are kind of down. Like there's like this one guy that I watch. And he's like this super China hawk, and he's had a horrible time getting that undersecretary job at defense. And so I think they might murder him off, but that's like all the headline jobs are done. So
Right.
yeah, watching Christy Noam run around just basically glam modeling for the fucking the TSA. You cannot convince me that she's actually in charge of that shit.
There's two things wrong with this. Okay, so there's the glam model. It's not glam model. Why? Because for whatever reason, here's the thing, and maybe it's just women shouldn't wear this, or they shouldn't wear that hat. Because everything she wears in that uniform makes her look like a bossy UPS driver, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you get that nailed. But Tulsi Gabbard has basically fucking disappeared. So I think she might actually be doing her job.
Apparently she is.
Yeah, she's gone off the radar, man.
I think she's just straight up like there's an assistant. He's like, "Do you want to take this call?" It's like, "No, take the phone off the receiver.
I'm in the job.
I'm working.
I'm working."
It's like, you know how everybody else is out there talking? I'm working. Actually, the last time that she appeared was she appeared at the signal inquiry about how did you have
she did show up with that.
And when they asked her things, she was like, "Are you gonna ask me a real question?"
Yeah.
It's like, I literally cannot be bothered with this. Do you want to ask me something?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Like, my professional opinion is that it's not a big deal. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then there was a Tulsi Gabbard shaped like smoke cloud where she just got up. It's like, I'm done.
Right. Yeah. Well, it wasn't like she was escaping. You know?
No, but she just like she had this
Like,
puss on. She's like, just fucking shut up. And look, I get it. I understand why they're doing it. It is, as I said at the time, like, on Twitter, it was like, wait a week to pass. No one will care.
No, nobody will care. And like, so a lot of people, some of the guys that I watch, trying to make a big deal out of that because I got this weird like space on my YouTube, feed right now, where there are guys who, like, never Trump guys,
Yeah,
who hate Democrats, which is weird because they're slowly becoming them. It's fun to watch. And then all these other folks who like policy wonks who you just don't fit in that. And so they're trying to make a big deal out of this the entire time. And one of the guys actually had a good point. He was like, look, it's just a simple fuck up. They shouldn't have done it that way. These guys are just new. So there was probably someone who should have said something, or at least been in charge of the list or something like that.
Yeah.
So admit it. Don't scorch anybody. Just tongue lash them a little bit in public. And Trump did that the next day, and the thing's fucking done after that. And so we have inquiries next week. Sorry, it's already been addressed.
Right.
Yeah. It was like that. Yeah. They're gonna fuck up. So
no, this is a pretty serious attempt to like make something out of nothing.
It's all they got, man, right now. It's all they got.
Well, they keep trying. The big rumor is that they're trying to put AOC and Jasmine Crockett on a ticket.
Good luck. Dude, that's 3 fucking years away. So, I mean, all right, so most of the time you can identify, like, who are your front runners maybe 2 years out.
Sure.
So it is way too early to be talking about that shit.
Right.
So,
But there's everybody on that side is detestable. Nobody likes anyone from there.
No, they're going to have Donald Trump's going to have to thoroughly fuck something up. Like spark a new resistance. Well, that's not insane.
An actual
resistance, not a Twitter resistance. Or I'm sorry, a Bluysky resistance. Here we go. And so I wouldn't even worry about that shit right now, man. It's like the fucking Olympics are so far away at this point in time that it's not even worth thinking about because, quite honestly, like with the tariff thing, fucking, it's going to be a different country in a year.
Right.
It's going to be a different country in a year.
Right.
So, and it might be great, and it might be we're all pissed, and then it's like there's actual Democrats that were like, yeah, that guy's pretty cool. You never know, Jeff.
There could be. You're right, especially considering like Democrats that I actually liked are in the Trump administration, so that all has got to flip around.
Oh, okay. So speaking of that, a little bit of local politics news. Did you see this the other day?
What?
So Michael Bennett is going to step down from his Senate spot.
For what reason?
He's going to run for governor. So we're going to have an open Senate spot.
Are you running?
I'm not running, but I'm pretty sure there's a bald gay Jew up in the state house up there who's looking for a job in 2028. That doesn't involve going up against JD Vance.
You think he wants the Senate spot?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna put
The
a
Flowers
pin.
guy?
The Flowers guy might go after it, and if he did that, I would totally vote for him. So
Well, I don't know who's the opposition is.
well, you know what he got. It's 2 years away.
Right, right,
So, well, 2026. Yeah, so it's a year and a half away.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that happens, I'd have to see who he's running against. But
Oh, dude, in this state, the Republicans would probably put fucking Lord Boebert up.
Oh, God.
that'd probably be their best chance.
It might be. So, but like, if you look at all the Senate races for the last, I mean, even the last one, and then this is this is a midterm election, so you got to keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
So like like the Republicans get slaughtered in the Senate races here.
It's
So,
pathetic.
it is pathetic. So,
Like, I'm going to say this, and I mean it.
mhm.
Like, serious dollars need to come out of the Republican side and try to fix this place.
Serious dollars.
Yes,
Oh,
they need to actually start doing battle here.
in the state.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, they're trying in a couple places, but they're just places that don't matter. So Pueblo's going
Right.
red. Aurora's like going red. So,
well, that's it's a natural course of like, well, we asked you to keep killing these people and you wouldn't kill them. We have to turn to the people that will kill criminals.
right. But that's just, I mean, you still got the Big D. You've got Boulder. You've got your old neighborhood,
Yeah.
which is a real fucking
You
problem.
Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado is just lost.
Shut down one goddamn good
Yeah.
bakery that you have in town. And they didn't shut down. They just didn't pay taxes, right?
Oh, what?
There was that badass bakery that when you were coming in, like one exit
Oh,
before,
yeah.
They pay their taxes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think they didn't pay
I
their
think it's
taxes.
something
I think
like
they
that.
red topped
Is
it.
it run by an Armenian?
No, it was just run by a woman.
Okay.
Now taxes are. I'm not saying anything. That
I was
because
expecting a
it's
lot
woman
more
doesn't
chest
mean-
hair and gold chains, man. So,
Look, there's a fair assessment. You're not wrong.
dude,
It's
that's
like-
been the track record in this town. So.
You're not wrong. And there's a lot
you
of
got your
places
fucking
like-
pizza thing
yeah.
still on your fridge up there, man.
Well, those weren't Armenians.
Oh no, it's the guy who owned that place before.
That is correct. When it was,
Was he an Armenian? Oh, I thought he was Greek.
No, he was Armenian.
He was Armenian. Okay.
He was Armenian.
Wasn't it called the Purple Onion?
It was.
Yeah,
it
okay.
was called the Purple Onion. Right.
It's kind of a dead giveaway.
Well, I think he was just like very open. It's like I pay taxes when I pay taxes. Like in this country, it's like no, you do it this time every time.
You
As a
do it
matter of
every
fact,
quarter, buddy.
It's like as a
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
you want to do this four times.
Four
a year.
times a year.
It's like this ridiculous. I go back
It's
to home.
ridiculous.
I go back to home country. I pay no taxes. Genocide or not?
Yeah, off you go, dude.
Right. All right.
All right.
So, anything else that you want to? You must get off your chest. Any like final thoughts here?
Nuggets fired Malone.
What was
That
the
was-
deal?
Why?
Because he's not that great of a coach.
They won a championship under him.
Because Jokic is amazing.
This is true.
He doesn't coach. He literally, like, the only thing this year he's done has been like, I'll play Jokic more minutes.
Sounds reasonable.
We suck when Jokic isn't on the floor.
Right.
I just need to keep playing because I refuse to play young guys. And we have a team full of half young guys, and I don't want to play any of them. So, I don't know how to solve this.
Well, it looks like they solved
They
it.
solved it.
Well, they fired him.
They fucking solved it for you.
They got rid of the GM. Well, the GM just isn't getting extended, so they've won 3 games, and we're going to the playoffs. So we'll see.
Who's
Who's going
new
to coach
in
during the
charge?
playoffs?
I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember the coach of the Kings way back when, Rick Adelman?
I believe I've
Is this
heard
during
the
the
name.
Bibby years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His son is our coach now.
So not him. Okay,
Not him,
not the
yeah.
guy I remember, but yeah.
His son, yes.
This is some bullshit. I don't like this business of like.
Father, son.
No, well, no, it's not that it's my fault because I'm at that age where I'm like, oh, it's the descendants of the people I know who are doing the jobs.
To be fair, that has gotten a lot worse in sports in the last 20 years.
Is there a lot of ass fucking? Like
Just wait. I mean,
Yeah.
just wait till the next football camp combine comes out, man. And you start seeing,
I saw some familiar names.
These are all going to be familiar names in the next like 10 years, man. So because if your daddy plays for the Colts, and
Right.
so and you get to go to the stadium when you're 6, you kind of marinate in football. Everybody knows who you are, so you get chance number 2, chance number 5, chance number 9.
Right. Right. Actually, well, there was one more football question I saw because it was a person I didn't recognize. Who was it that was just caught on video? Basically sleeper holding his girlfriend.
I think that was a draft pick.
Yeah.
Something Boyd or something like that.
Man, you can't do that as a draft pick.
Yeah, I saw about it. I didn't.
You saw that? Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw the clip. I thought this was just like, oh, this happened outside of 7-Eleven, and then it was in the sports. I was like, who did this? I don't recognize this name.
Yeah. Something, I think Mond or something.
Dude, he put her ass to sleep. Like
Last
no
name
fucking
wasn't
wrong.
Sanders, was it?
No, that's the other. That's the other big mystery is if Sanders is going to drop.
What, CU?
Oh no! I mean his kid in the draft.
Shador. Yeah, probably.
His son's getting drafted this year.
So he's going to drop Scoot.
You said his name?
Shador Sanders.
Cheddar.
Are you trying to say cheddar?
Shador.
Okay. Can you spell it?
Sheudddur.
That's a choice. All right.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh man.
Because it sounds like you're. It sounds
Dude,
like
been
you're.
carrot up CU the last year and a half. So
You sound like Quimby's son. Say it. Show down. It's Chowdah. And then someone's like, how do you spell this?
So he might slip in the draft. So
Chowdah Sanders.
Yeah.
Chowdah
Anywhere from number 3 to who knows. So,
yeah, who knows?
to possibly the Steelers.
Wah wah wah.
Because Rodgers won't sign with them.
He's gonna go to
Why
the Jets.
Rodgers is waiting to see if there's.
Oh no, he's gonna go to the Vikings.
He wants to, but the Vikings said we don't want you.
Don't they have a quarterback?
Well, they have a rookie, so I think Rodgers is being like, yeah, let's see if he sucks.
It's a little late to be thinking about that, don't you think? Like,
Dude, Rodgers needs to find a seat, otherwise, he's gonna wind up on Joe Rogan again. He's never gonna get a fucking job.
He's just waiting to see whatever good team has their quarterback go down and be like, okay, I'm gonna come in and save the day.
Yeah, okay,
I'm the hero.
That's kind of smart.
just play quarterback for someone who needs quarterback.
Well, and he doesn't like doing all this off-field stuff, and
he doesn't like going to Easter seals.
He doesn't like doing training camp and all these things.
All this stuff. I don't do
season workouts. So he's pushing the cheat button and then hoping to ride in like a white knight and carry the team to glory.
I told you I don't need a physical. That's why I take my handmade, homemade aspirin.
Yes. So
you have a special press for that?
I mean, here's the thing. So a lot of people will tell you differently, but the secret is a lot of spear grass.
You heard it here, folks.
yeah.
All right.
I'm Will.
Extra spear grass.